All right, guys, we're back with another episode of the List Night podcast. It's been a few weeks since we dropped a new episode. On our last episode, we had our first guest. Thank you again to Matt Ferentinos for coming on the pod. We had a great time. And hopefully everyone at home listening had a great time as well. We'll definitely have him back on the pod. We were initially planning on recording yesterday, and then Thomas had a lot going on with work. I realized it was Yom Kippur and I was going to be fasting. I think both of us would have ended up being pretty moody on the pod, which would have led to Andrew carrying the entire pod. And we can't have that. That wouldn't have been good for anybody.
I think it would have been a great episode.
I think you do think that. I believe that you think it would have been a great episode. But
to be fair, I'm always a little moody, so
yeah. Well, that's kind of your thing, but moody and engaged, as opposed to moody and falling asleep on camera for you, and moody and swaying in his seat from a caffeine headache for me. But regardless, we're doing it now. Hope to have this episode out pretty soon because it has been a few weeks since our last episode. Not a whole lot to get into this week, just a standard episode. We're going to be doing father figures this week. So if you've heard me on previous pods make way too many jokes about my own relationship with my father, maybe we'll find out there's something to that. Maybe we won't. Who's to say? Doesn't matter. Our order this week is going to be me, and then it's going to be Andrew, and then it's going to be Thomas. Before we get going, you guys got anything you want to add, or you want to just kind of jump into it?
To my real dad, if you're listening, please don't take any offense to this entire thing.
Yeah, I was going to say the same sort of thing. I did set a rule for myself. I set two rules for myself, one of which I'll get into later, but the second of which is I didn't put my own dad on this list. But obviously, he'd be number one.
Sure.
Not obviously, because
it's not obvious. Your dad, great guy, and I do believe that on your list, because you are a normal human being, he would be number one. But I think, looking at the list, father figures were probably, and Thomas, I might be wrong about this, it might end up on Thomas's list. I did not think I wasn't going to put my own father on there. I wasn't even going to put like my own grandparents on there or anything like that, because you guys don't know my grandparents. So what am I going to talk about? Oh yeah, my granddad was fucking great. Yeah, he was, but I'm not going to go into that.
Oh, I would rebut that all day. I don't know your grandfather, but I know
exactly.
I know how List Nights works, and whatever you say, I'm against it. So
I don't want to fight about my dead grandfather. Like I just don't have time for that today.
Fair enough.
I could do it.
Okay, all right. So maybe later in the pod, we're going to fight about Thomas's also maybe dead grandfather. I'm not sure what the status of his grandparents.
My dead grandfather could beat up your dead grandfather, and that's all I'm saying.
It's almost definitely true. But I could beat up your dead grandfather. Regardless,
I don't believe that.
Regardless, we're gonna get into it. They apologize to their fathers for not including them. I don't think my dad's gonna listen to this pod, but if you do listen, Dad, I love you, and I just explained why you're not on my list, but you are a top 5 father figure in my life, at worst. And yeah, let's get into it. Number 5 on my list, and this is one that I say it every week. I'm not going to be that surprised if it's on somebody else's list. Perry Cox from Scrubs. Had a pretty big Scrubs rewatch at the start of quarantine, and I've always been a huge fan of John C. McGinley as Perry Cox and the character as a whole, and the show as a whole. It's just a great show. But did a quarantine rewatch and probably made it like 6 or 7 seasons in. Didn't make it all the way through. He's the fucking man. Like, if I had any sort of like wisdom that I could one day impart upon my kids, I would want to be him, because he's like stern in all the right ways, and he's caring in all the right ways, and he's significantly funnier than I'll ever be, which is exactly what you need in a father figure. You need a guy to bring the jokes. If one day I am a father, I'm probably going to go over in terms of being anything like Perry Cox, outside of the fact that we're both tall and not handsome.
Don't say handsome. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not. He's probably real life handsome, but he's not Hollywood handsome.
Griffin, I was talking about you.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, yeah, no, I'm definitely less attractive than he is, and he is already currently arguably not handsome. So we are, like I said, both tall. Number 5, Perry Cox. I want him to teach me how to be a doctor and a better man.
I also love Scrubs. I don't think it's a great pick. A good mentor, bad father figure. But it makes sense. He's got some mental illnesses he's not dealing with, and so maybe you're following his footsteps.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I don't have a ton of bad to say about this pick. Also love Scrubs. Also love this character. I agree with pretty much everything you said. For me, just not a top 5, but a respectable pick.
Sure. I do, before I move on to number 4, I do want to kind of rebut Thomas a little bit, particularly for JD in Scrubs. Definitely a better father figure than JD's own father. Like, as a point of comparison, way, way, way better. And also better than probably all the older men on that show. Like, the hospital administrator, who was like the worst guy. Kelso, worst guy on earth.
No. If that's, from a standpoint of father figures to others, all right, I see that. But like a father figure that you want, or like, you know what I mean? Like a father figure to you, I feel like,
Well, to be fair, this isn't a top 5 list of father figures I want. This is like what you've done before, just a list of 5 father figures.
And that's fine.
Okay.
You need to clarify that.
Yeah, well, I'm clarifying now. Yeah. Honestly, everyone on my list is somebody that I would love to have as a father figure, but not necessarily in the order that I'm going to present them in.
So Perry Cox, great father figure to the other characters in the show, for the most part.
And if I were cast in the show, hopefully to me as well.
Not
which
really
one because the show was canceled years and years ago.
Yeah.
Would yours be? I feel like Turk would be more like a big brother to me.
No, I meant he wasn't really a father figure to Turk because he was trying to sleep with Turk's wife for a couple seasons. So
that is true. Well, I've seen some videos, and that's not that uncommon.
Of fathers trying to sleep with their sons' significant others, you're saying?
Yes.
That is deliberately what I'm saying. Yeah.
It is a category.
I think we've all seen those videos. Damn, my arms are looking big. If you're watching the video pod right now, welcome to the show.
And now they're not.
All right.
When you were pushing it up with the other,
what do you want to say? I was just scratching my other arm. I'm not pushing it against anything.
No, what I was going to say was after you said that, you paused and like looked at us. Like, were we supposed to react to that? Like, what?
Did you think
I'm always curious if you guys are also impressed
by
what
would act positive towards you at all for that? At all?
One day you might.
No,
maybe at my funeral, but sometime.
See, this thing, I'll tell you if your arms look nice, I'll tell you. But I don't want you to tell me because then I think they look bad.
You're never going to tell me.
Yeah, because I knew you were going to say something.
Well, now I feel like I got to keep my arms like below the screen because I'm just going to keep looking at myself. Regardless, let's move on. Number 4, Perry Cox, great. Number 5, Griffin, great pick. Or number 1 or number 3 or whatever he is on your list of father figures. Doesn't matter. Number 4 on my list. Another one that I could see being on probably Andrew's list, Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. This would have been a pick that 1,000,000% would have made it on Matt Ferrantino's list if he was doing this pod with us as well. Anyone that's seen the show probably realizes that he's like the really exclusive father figure on the show that imparts anything good upon the younger people in the show. He's filled with wisdom that doesn't just relate in the universe they're in. He's funny. He's tough. He's a badass. He goes from being kind of a comic relief character to being one of the central characters. And he is very responsible for a lot of the growth that pretty much every character in the gang on that show goes through. And is really the only guiding light that a lot of them have for the majority of the show. And yeah, he's just kind of a beloved figure and, the kind of guy that you like to have in your corner.
So I'm going to tell you guys the reason why I hate list night is because now I have to say something bad about Uncle Iroh, and I have nothing bad to say, but I can't possibly agree with Griffin on anything. So now I have to think of something bad. All right.
You could just insult him, not based on this pick. You could just
could just dog on me.
Well, the one thing I have to say is that as a father figure goes, he let his own son die.
Mm.
And I
Ooh,
feel
that's a
bad
tough
saying
thing to
that.
put on a man. Did he
But also-
necessarily let his own son die, or did his son
but
die
like
and
his
he was
son
not
died,
able
all right?
to
But
prevent
like,
it?
but if this was anyone else's pick on any other platform, I'd say, oh, that's a really good pick. I'm upset I didn't think about it.
Are you doing picks on a lot of other platforms? Are you
No,
cheating
but if
on
I
the
were to
pod?
watch other platforms,
Thomas is on a lot of different pods. He
Thomas
doesn't
is
tell us
on
I'm
the
on
pod.
so many pods that I
Yeah.
can't handle it.
You know what I
Griffin,
hate? Guys that call things pods.
So
Like
us.
coffee pods.
Yeah, yeah.
Tide
Just
pods.
I don't like the word pod.
You're a. I'm gonna start calling you a pod.
All
You're
right.
a pod.
Andrew, I think you had some mean comment you were about to make.
No, nothing mean. Just that you said that you thought this might be on my list, but you clearly weren't paying attention in the last episode because I specifically said that when Matt had Aang on his list for protagonist, I specifically said that I have not watched Avatar to the extent that I need to, and I wish that I had rewatched it when he did his rewatch when I lived with him, during quarantine. So
Maybe I was thinking Thomas.
Pay attention.
I confuse you guys a lot.
Yeah, so I mean, I think it's from everything I do know about the show and everything beyond that I've heard, it seems like a good pick. I know he's critically acclaimed and well respected as a mentor figure, so I get it.
All I'm saying is that Andrew and I are nothing alike. We're both white. We both have beards. We both have hair that's short on the sides, tall on the top. We're both wearing t-shirts. We're nothing alike.
Tall on the top.
Tall, yeah. Tall.
First off, I would definitely
hair.
not say it's long on top. You have
It's
short
longer
hair
on
on
the
the
side.
side and slightly less short hair on top.
Oh,
It's
so
longer.
hair.
You are in fact both white. I don't know what it is. You guys, your faces, you just blend together. I think I have like a very specific kind of face blindness where I only confuse the two of you for each other, which is frustrating considering how many things the three of us do with each other because I just never know which of you I'm talking to. Thomas has the whole thing, which helps.
Yeah.
Whatever. Good pick. I hate you. Whatever.
All right. That's 2 for 2 on good picks with you guys. That's probably more than I usually get.
No. 1.5.
1.5. Okay, I'll take 1.5. That rounds up.
That's
number
my
3.
record for list night too.
Yeah, that's not untrue. Number 3 on my list, which could also be number 1 on my list or number 7 on my list because numbers don't mean anything. Frank Reynolds from Always Sunny in Philadelphia. And this one is going
Terrible pick.
A little bit of a different direction than the others. The thing is, Frank Reynolds, people will be like, oh no, but like he is the father of 2 characters on the show. No, he is not. He is not the father of those characters. He thinks for a number of years that he is their father, but their mom is a dirty, cheating slut and had kids with Bruce Mathis.
Yeah.
Sorry,
she's not a slut. She's a whore.
She's a whore. I don't love that word.
That's the word.
I don't know why one's okay, but the other's not. I don't want to dive into it. But he funds their schemes. He's with them through good and bad, and he's not a good influence on them, but he is definitely the most influential person in all of their lives. And what really more are you looking for in a father figure than somebody to whose footsteps to follow in? But primarily, he funds their schemes, and that's kind of the big thing for me.
So
I want someone
he's
to fund
there. He's there for the good and bad, and I feel like he's usually the bad or the reason for the bad. And amazing character, god awful father figure.
Yeah, I think this is just a terrible
Other
pick.
than money.
Right.
Again,
I mean,
we did not say good father figures. We said father figures.
Oh, but
these are
what's
just
your list then?
father figures. Just father figures.
How'd you decide the order then?
I told you that I didn't decide the order. I didn't even number them on my list. I put bullets. They're all the same number.
That's disgusting. List night is about ranking. You disgust me.
We don't do bullets here. We do numbered lists. But no, yeah, to me, like the one reason that Frank is on your list is clearly, as you said, because of money. You could have picked any rich person who's a better person than Frank Reynolds, and that would have been a way better pick. Yeah, no, the guy is just not a good father figure. The only other like redeeming quality as a father figure that you didn't even touch on, so I'm not giving you points for this, is that the one character he may kind of be considered a father figure to is Charlie, who may actually be his biological son, and you didn't touch on their relationship at all. So
nor do I want to, because it is bizarre and I won't stand for it.
Again, a reason he's not a good father figure.
Getting away briefly from the Frank Reynolds pick for a second, we were talking about how you structure a list. Do you guys number your grocery lists? Do you put like the thing that you need to get most importantly at the top with a what next to it? I'm just saying you can have a list that is not numbered.
Not on list night.
Yeah, Griffin, we're talking about list night specifically, and also yes, I do that.
Also, it's daytime. So list night is dishonest regardless. Look at that. You see how bright it is in my background? It's daytime.
Oh my God. What happened to kayfabe?
Dude, what a deep cut wrestling reference. I don't think most people are going to know what kayfabe is. Okay. 2.5 to 3 great picks. I'm, as always, cruising through, just putting together a great bulleted, non-numbered list of things that maybe I like, maybe I don't, but things that are definitely father figures.
Should be disqualified.
People that are father figures. Excuse me. They are people. Number 2, arguably on my list, Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Big TMNT guy. Big Leonardo and Raphael guy in particular. Don't really have a whole lot of time for Donatello and kind of wishy-washy on Michelangelo. Just kind of one of the best dads in fiction. He took 4 mutant turtles. I mean, he's a mutant rat, so already off to the races with him having a weird life. And he took 4 mutant turtles and he raised them to their teen years, and he taught them martial arts, and he taught them to fight gangs, and he provided, much like Uncle Iroh, a lot of sagely wisdom throughout the years. He also taught them to have a great love of pizza, a top 5 to 10 food in my life, and I think in most people's lives. And he, without complaint, lives in the sewers and spends his entire life just kind of taking care of kids.
Rat.
Yeah, but he's a rat that understands what a sewer is. Like, yes, that's true. He is in fact a rat. But he's a rat who knows he can do better, but also has made peace with his surroundings because he's a very zen, very put together kind of individual. All he cares about is well, is it?
You can do better, but why?
Yeah, no.
If you have found peace with yourself, you don't necessarily need to do better because beauty is in the surroundings all around you.
He's in the fucking sewer.
Yeah, that's a good.
You're
point.
in a sewer.
How noble of him to not care that he lives in a sewer and he's a rat.
No, here's the thing. Master Splinter was on my list. I swapped him out. And something I just thought about. Why? So I like the pick because I agree with almost everything you said. Biggest downfall is, though, he raised his sons, taught martial arts, and then dragged them into his war. So
honestly, I think that's what most fathers should do. I think we would be better if fathers spent more time and kind of in a way they do spend a lot of time dragging their kids into their battles. Have you ever seen dads at like a Little League baseball game? They're dragging them into 20-year-old battles at that point.
Yeah, and would you rank those guys as the top father figures?
No, because they don't provide wisdom or martial arts training, and they don't ever help me fight gangs.
Doesn't matter. Griffin's not ranking them. These aren't the top.
Oh, right.
These are just
that's why your guys' dads aren't on my list, because maybe they were busy yelling at Little League dads. I don't know.
You don't even know our dads.
I know Andrew's dad a little bit. Yeah. Your dad, I think we've met. We've definitely met. We've been to a wedding.
I'll say this. If Steve Simon had taught me how to actually score in basketball, he'd be on my list. But he was a great coach.
But he was too busy teaching you how to score in life.
He didn't make me a better shooter. Don't
you put that evil on my dad. That was a job. That was a job way too big for any.
I feel like you're asking too much for Steve Simon.
No, he tried. And there's just some things that can't be fixed. And my shooting is
like your jumper. Yeah.
Yeah. No. Back to Splinter though. I agree that I also had him on my long list, and he ended up getting cut. So I don't hate the pick, but again, yeah, it's just Griffin. You start off like pretty good, and then you just talk yourself into like a worse, and you dig yourself a hole. Like Thomas had some great points. Yeah, how noble of the rat to not mind living in the sewer, and yeah, no,
he's a rat with the intelligence of a human. He understands what sucks about living in a sewer.
Okay, but also but to Thomas's other point, yeah, like did he?
He probably wants to live in an apartment building, but he's made peace with it.
Did he really make the world better for his sons, or did he just drag his sons into fight his own war? I mean,
I would argue he made it better for them.
Because what he could have done is been like, hey, I'm a rat with intelligence. Let me work my way up with the humans, get accepted, get a nice apartment, get a nice house, not get in this war. Hey, my kids, they want to learn martial arts. I'll teach them, but not make it their whole life. Oh, right. They're living in an apartment. They're living in a house.
So to be clear,
they're living in crap.
To be clear, you are under the impression that if a talking rat, about 4.5 feet tall, dressed in a kimono, was to come to the surface one day and start talking to people and trying to build a career and trying to get an apartment, you think people would react in a way they'd be like, yeah, you're right. We're definitely going to rent to this guy. We're definitely going to hire this guy for a job. No, the sewer was the only place he could live because he wouldn't.
I guess we'll never know because he was too noble to want more.
I can't believe you put too noble about Master Splinter in quotes. That is a driving characteristic about Master Splinter.
You're saying he's too noble, and that's why he lives in the sewer. No,
I can't believe I ever wanted you to be a Ninja Turtle with me. I can't believe it. I can't believe I didn't.
I wasn't part of that. I wasn't part of that.
A Ninja Turtle with me.
I was not a part of that original conversation.
I would say that you could make the I would say you could make the argument that Frank Reynolds is too noble to. That's why he lives in the sewer. But you can't make that argument for Splinter.
How could you make that argument?
In the sewer, but
he doesn't live in a sewer, so I don't know how you could make that argument.
I would say this:
through the sewer.
If you were ranking this list in numbers, Uncle Iroh should be above Master Splinter.
I can accept that.
Yeah, I didn't.
But I can accept your perspective on that.
The right one.
Because I'm noble, much like Master Splinter and or Uncle Iroh.
Then go,
Moving on.
Go live in the sewer.
I would if I could.
You can.
Where I belong. Well, he died pretty quick. Moving on to what you could call number one if you wanted to, rank a list. This guy is on a show where there are a lot of father figures, largely guys that I don't like a whole lot. Like there is a particular father on the show that this gentleman is from who most people would say, no, he's a great dad. He's a boring douche. I don't care about him. My number one pick, Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World.
I knew it. I knew it. That was
Damn
gonna
it.
be my guess. It was going to be my guess.
Yeah. Corey's dad, and really like all of their, I guess mostly Corey's dad. He's fine. He's just like a dad. Like he kind of provides wisdom, and he's like palling around and dating a woman outside of his like he's out throwing his coverage. Like he's doing fine for himself. But did he really raise two good kids, or did Mr. Feeney's lessons on a regular basis raise three good kids? I guess, yeah, the little sister. And then also all of their colleagues. I don't think he taught I see you just held up 4 fingers. I don't think he taught the youngest one.
I think Corey's dad raised 3.5 good kids because he took Sean in.
I would argue that to a large extent, Mr. Feeney did. Mr. Feeney and that other guy whose name I don't remember, who was pretty badass.
Yeah,
Mr. Turner. Yeah. Again, kind of a douche, but a badass douche. Did the raising of Sean. And did Sean, like, let's be honest, again, I want to give Mr. Feeney credit for him, but I also want to take some credit away because did Sean end up okay? Who's to say?
I'll say this. I can't argue against Mr. Feeney being a good father figure. I think you're being too negative on Mr. Matthews, who was actually a phenomenal father.
I'm sure he was. I'm sure he was a good father figure.
But I think
I'm a Feeney guy.
Yeah, I mean, most are, because Feeney was the, it's easy to be a father figure. It's harder to be a father.
Yeah. Wow, mic drop or pen drop.
You just dropped a pen as if it were a mic when you're actually talking on a mic. I appreciate that you didn't drop the actual mic.
Let me drop my computer.
Mr. Feeney is a great pick. I might have to do some shuffling around my list a little bit, but I will use my time to defend Mr. Matthews because he is a great father and a great character. There's a very emotional early season episode where Corey and his friends are arguing at school about if their dad or if a superhero was their dad, which one. And Corey says, "I wish Superman was my dad." And then at the end of the episode, he sees how hard his dad works and to put food on the table and to fix up the house and all that stuff. And then he's thinking to himself, Superman's my dad. And it's very emotional. So
It is.
Yeah,
that sounds dumb as shit.
It's
sounds
kind of
stupid. Superman would be a way cooler dad.
Okay, but again, you have daddy issues.
Not untrue.
You have father issues.
But also,
and you have Superman issues.
I wouldn't say issues. I would say that I have a strong love of Superman that borders on the homoerotic. That's not an issue.
Oh, no,
I found
Henry Cavill. There's nothing wrong with that.
I found a criticism of your number one pick. Mr. Feeney is too good of an answer to be on your shitty ass, stupid ass list.
Unranked list. Unnumbered list. At least use letters. Bullets mean nothing. You
want me to use like great? Well, because then if I use letters though, then you're going to associate it with like school grading scale, and that means that somebody on this list is bad, and there's not a bad pick on this list.
No, I'd associate with an order.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody was like, I wouldn't start something on like E and be like, this is a top 5 pick if it was also the same thing that you associate with a failing grade.
I just don't think you should be allowed to host list night if you can't even make a ranked list.
I wish someone else would host list night. I'm begging you. Please host list night.
Oh,
yeah, I don't really feel like doing it.
I really can't wait for all 3 of us to get replaced.
Yeah, I too.
Actually,
that's a good time to bring this up. If you voted for the most recent pod, I fucking hate you because Matt Ferrantino's our guest got more votes than the rest of us. What are you guys doing? Like all we ask is that you vote for us in the order that we go in every single week. So this week I should win, and then Andrew will get second, and then Thomas will get last.
That's not what we ask. That's not what we ask.
That's what I'm asking for. This week only, I want you to vote in the order that we present these picks in. So you vote for me first. Thomas looks like he's furiously writing something. I'm not sure what's going on over there.
It's not furious. That's just how I write because I write real bad.
Just
it's just because I'm writing fast.
Thomas is still making his list.
Like the Hulk with a tiny little pencil in your hand. Okay, from the top. Number 5, Perry Cox from Scrubs.
This isn't the top.
4.
It doesn't make. There's no top or bottom.
From the bottom?
There's just a blob.
Okay. From
the beginning,
amorphous blob.
from the beginning to the most recent.
Yeah, there we go. From the beginning to the most recent, Perry Cox from Scrubs, Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender, Frank Reynolds from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, Master Splinter from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. Obviously, this entire list was all fictional characters on different pieces of media. I don't know if that's the direction that Andrew and Thomas are going to go in with this one. I guess I wouldn't be surprised because that kind of makes the most sense for where we would find father figures. But, looking forward to their picks. And I also look forward to winning this week because it's a great fucking list.
I do have one question for Master Splinter. Is there a certain iteration of him?
Probably the animated show from the 90s. I feel like he got a lot more screen time in that than he did in the movies. And the more recent, I haven't watched the more recent animated shows. So yeah, the 90s are like the 2004 show that was on Fox Kids or Cartoon Network or whatever. Both good and great. Master Splinter got a lot of screen time.
Cool. All right. Well, so it's glad you asked about my list, like whether I went with like TV and movies or what I did, because I actually added another element to my list. I have one from each form of media. I have one movie, one theater, one literature, one TV, and one person from real life. So I think this is going to give me a leg up.
So no music?
No music, no.
I don't know if this will give you a leg up.
No social media?
No, what, just influencers? No,
just someone from Vine. Like that one
Yeah,
guy who I
is
found funny
Hassan
online.
Piker on your list?
Honestly, that's a
The
good
guy,
point.
the guy who said, and they were roommates. He's kind of a father figure for me.
Yeah, well, put
Your
him on your list.
your bar is super low.
Yeah. I'm looking
And I have
forward
a
to
good relationship with my dad.
looking forward to
Yeah.
hearing your list. But you're
Surprisingly low.
so number 5 on my list is my movie pick. So kind of a random one, but it's Mac McGuff, the dad from Juno. So Juno's dad in the movie Juno. So
Fucking, this is not even left.
You're
field.
not
This
gonna
is-
win.
This
This
is a
is-
different fucking stadium.
You're
this
not gonna win off the bat unless you have some pick that just
What's his name?
crushes all of
Matt
the others.
McGuff?
Matt McGuff. He
He
sounds like a
a
dog cop.
detective dog. A dog detective.
Yes.
yeah,
Oh,
that'd
we
be cool.
should be screenwriters.
That'd be cooler. No, I think he's
Dolph
a great.
Lundgren should play him.
I think he's a
Of
great
course.
character in it. I think he's a great character and a supportive dad. Obviously, the movie deals with a teenage pregnancy. I think he handles it very well, and he's very supportive throughout. And his main thing is that he cares about her and her well-being, and he doesn't judge. And I also another element to my list, which will help me win. I have a favorite quote from each of my 5 people on the list. Okay,
This is just sociopathy. This is weird.
so the quote I have
You
here
need
is,
a new hobby.
the quote I have here is, my hobby is list night. The best thing you can do is find a person who loves you for exactly what you are. Great message and great character.
So
I believe in changing.
By the way, it's J.K.
Yeah.
Simmons.
Okay, so
Okay,
that was my
I was going
question.
to ask you that.
Yeah.
That was going to be one of my questions.
Yeah, because I haven't seen Juno in. I probably literally have not seen it since theaters. I don't think so. I could not remember who played him. And Andrew, I hope I don't ruin anything. I hope J.K. Simmons plays every single character on your list.
Oh, that'd be good.
I-
but
Oh, I would also love that. There's some good choices. There's also some really bad choices.
I was just like,
Like,
I hope you
Like the character in
It's
Whiplash.
something I
A
would
father
do.
figure, not a great one. I have 2 comments and a question. Comment number 1, it was originally going to be a question. I was going to ask who played him. Now I know, J.K. Simmons, fucking man. Comment number 2, I have not seen that movie since it was in theaters, much like Thomas. And I fucking hate that movie. Don't like it. Don't think it was very good. Don't really. I get why it got all the shine that it got. I'm not going to say I don't understand why it was so popular, but I did not like it. Question: if he's such a great father figure, where was he when Jason Bateman was creeping on his pregnant teenage daughter? Where was he?
what do you mean? Where was?
I feel like
You-
where was
you-
he? Where was he? Where was
you,
he?
you expect him
Griffin,
to
just
follow her
'cause-
around everywhere she goes?
Just
All
'cause
of my
some
dads would have done that. All of my dads would have done that.
That makes them terrible dads.
Well, none of them had pregnant daughters, so I would argue that they were better dads.
That's not true. Dee Reynolds got pregnant.
Not as a teenager? You're right. I didn't
Yeah.
specify teenager. You're right. You're right. That's on me. Too excited to make my point. Thomas wins this round. Not going to win this.
I can't say like he's a bad father figure. I just also like I don't know, it's so random a pick. I'm just like I don't think I need to say anything bad because it's like
In
just
reality,
bad.
I'm in the same boat. I don't have that much pushback on it because I haven't seen this.
Yeah.
When did this come out? 2006?
this is like a I'm trying to be different and unique. And let me tell you, Andrew, I tried that. It doesn't work.
Oh, I
Voters don't like it.
I
Voters
don't
like it.
I don't think it's going to get me any votes. That pick, my top 4 will, but
So
but
you go for the 5 as the big pick.
yeah, that's true.
That's true.
Eh,
Yeah.
the Instagram post is going to be a little rough.
That's also the whole thing with us listing like 5 through 1. Do we always believe that our 5s are actually our 5s, or are we trying to make an Instagram
do.
graphic?
I do.
Yeah, but Thomas, you don't win very often, so
I play by the rules. My
There are no
father figures
rules.
taught me that. My
there are no
father
rules
figures
and the
taught me
points
that.
don't matter. That's how list night works.
What are the rules?
Number 4 on my list is my pick from real life. My favorite form of media, real life. And this is Tom Hanks.
Oh man, I think I say my dad. I was like,
No,
oh,
I gotta follow up
I'm
for
gonna
this
look
one.
bad.
I gotta follow up for this one.
You got to follow up for this one. What did he do? Something just terrible that I'm not aware of
Well,
recently?
his son sucks.
Well,
that's-
yeah, okay. So I was gonna say, if he's that great of a dad, I mean, Chet Hanks exists. First off.
So
there's a thing that a lot of people think he's done that's horrible, but that's because they're stupid pizza gators. So that's not related. He's one of the guys. Yeah, that's not my issue.
So the thing with Tom Hanks, like some people refer to him as America's dad, which I've never been a big fan of that like mantra or that nickname. I think it's kind of stupid. But that being said, I think the guy is generally a good person as far as celebrities go. I think he's pretty philanthropic and kind-hearted. And he's a really good actor. My favorite quote of his that I Googled is, if you're funny, if there's something that makes you laugh, then every day is going to be okay. So Tom Hanks, number 4.
So amazing actor. I've never heard that he's America's father. It sounds weird to me to think
America's
that he is.
Also a terrible nickname because the only other person that had that nickname prior to him was Bill Cosby. So not great.
I also it's weird to me that your real life father figure wasn't the father of America, George Washington. So I'm kind of thrown off, I'll be honest.
Did people not call him Mr. Rogers America's dad?
See, that's what I would think.
That's who I would have suspected. And honestly, when you said America's dad, I very immediately was like, oh, fuck, I left Mr. Rogers off my list.
Mr. Rogers is a neighbor. He's
I feel like
he's a fatherly presence. But
Mr. Feeney was the neighbor.
Yeah. No, I know. I'm talking more just like feel.
Yeah, no, I don't have any beef with Tom Hanks as a pick. By all accounts, wonderful dude. Great actor, like you said. Never in any sort of controversy. Again, I think he's batting 500 on Raising Sons. Colin Hanks, the man. Chet Hanks, a man. Yeah. It's for a real life pick. That's better than I thought you were going to go with it. I had some suspicions on who you were going to pick, and that was not it.
Yeah, I would never think of him as a father figure, but I do enjoy Tom Hanks and his work. And
he did play Mr. Rogers on that.
He did play Mr. Rogers
in that movie. But actually, there's a connection there. Yeah.
Glad you thought of it, so I didn't have to.
Bad father. He let Wilson float away. So
is Wilson a son or a lover? Or a friend, or some combination of all of those.
The son I would not say he was a son, but I'm just saying fathers in general shouldn't let their only connection
shouldn't let away. Beach volleyballs float away. Because how are you going to play beach volleyball if your dad lets it float away? Yeah. You're right.
They were, I guess, blood related though.
Yeah, his blood was on Wilson. Yes.
This is just a Castaway fan cast at this point.
Oh, I love that. Number 3, my third pick.
Hold on. Has anyone made any fanfics about what happened to Wilson? Because if not,
yes,
we should make
definitely. There's some Rule 30. Oh, wait, what do you mean fanfics? I think we mean different things.
I don't mean sexual.
Then I don't think so.
I mean like a sequel to Castaway, which follows Wilson's journey.
Ooh. Castaway 2, he makes it back to the island, and they're just
Castaway 2, Wilson's return, and it's just a horror movie where Wilson is hunting down everyone in Tom Hanks' life now because he left him in the middle of the ocean.
He murders everyone.
It's rubber. It's rubber, but with Wilson the volleyball. I'd watch it. I would watch a gritty reboot of Castaway called Wilson, where it's just him rolling around for an hour and a half, just
blowing things up with his
murdering people. Yeah. I hate that I would watch that, but I would see that in theaters.
Rubber is not a good movie.
Yeah, if that's not made already, it needs to be. So
yeah. Well, look, we got a couple screenwriters on the pod with Mac McGruff or whatever the fuck his name is.
Coming soon to a Redbox near you,
starring J.K. Simmons.
Yeah. All right. Number 3 is my theater pick, and this is Jean Valjean from Les Mis. Okay, I don't know if you guys are big theater buffs or know much about Les Mis, but Jean Valjean is basically the main character. He risks a lot to help and protect others. Basically, he steals bread, which is why he's a prisoner in the beginning, but he does that for his sister's children. And then later on in the play, he basically pledges to care and raise Cosette, who's obviously not his biological daughter. And then I liked this quote about him that I found on Wikipedia. It says, although a known criminal and parolee, Valjean grows morally to represent the best traits of humanity. Despite being classified as a criminal outcast, Valjean maintains the highest of human virtues and ethics. So I thought that was a great person to be on my father's figures list. And then favorite quote of his, it's he's trying to protect a young boy from being killed, and he says, bring him peace, bring him joy. He is young, he's only a boy. You can take, you can give, let him be, let him live. If I die, let me die, let him live, bring him home. So he's always protecting others and putting himself in danger to do so.
Big theater guy, Andrew Simon. I wouldn't have called that. This is Hugh Jackman's character from the film.
Yeah, from the film. Yeah.
I wish that Hugh Jackman was my dad. Full stop. So I support this choice. Granted, you chose the theater version. I don't know who played him in the theater version, but I'm going to assume that he looked and sounded like Hugh Jackman.
I mean, a million people have played him on theater.
Potentially even Hugh Jackman
on theater. I'm pretty sure he has. Not a big theater guy. I mean, nothing against it, just not a theater guy. Nothing bad to say about this. I just feel like your list, I appreciate what you're going for, someone from each media, but it's like, I don't know, not a great list. It's just kind of like,
I like that you've got a quote for everybody.
Yeah. I mean, like good research.
Don't patronize me, guys.
I don't know if I love each one of the quotes though. Like the quote for him, it was just like, don't kill this kid. And it's like, just be like, hey man, don't kill this kid.
Yeah.
Why you gotta why use many words when few word good?
It's hard to find quotes for that musical, and I guess I kind of cheated because it was originally a
French,
so it could have been the literature pick, but because everything's basically poetry and like rhyming, and a lot of it's like sung with along with other characters. So settled on that quote. But
this is the first time, as from my recollection, that Griffin and I have not accused you of cheating, but you have said that you cheated.
Well, I'm saying cheating.
That's growth. That's cheating. Growth. I don't know which father figure helped you grow, but I'm glad they did.
That's fair. They all did. But I'm saying cheating for the unnecessary, trivial, extra rule that I put on myself.
The category that you added for yourself.
Exactly.
See, I wouldn't accuse you of cheating because so far I don't think you're doing a great job. And if you're losing, I'm just going to let you lose. Like I'm not going to accuse you of cheating.
What is list night if not unnecessary and trivial?
Yeah.
So
I think it's pretty necessary.
That should be like our bio on our Twitter and Instagram page.
unnecessary and trivial.
Not unnecessarial because I don't think that's the word.
Unnecessarial might sum it up.
Unnecessarial sounds like venereal disease.
Unnecessarial might be better description though.
I was going to say, I think that sums up list night even better.
Unnecessarial. All right.
We don't make sense often, and by we I mean me. So
yeah,
you got words. They're not great words, but you got words.
They're not words.
All right, so the two media that I have left are TV and literature. I'm going to switch them because my number one is from TV and it's my number two is my number two now is Mr. Feeney from Boy Meets World. And yeah, I mean, I agree with everything Griffin said. He's a fantastic teacher, both academically, but also more importantly, just in life. Underrated quality of Mr. Feeney. He's really funny. He's got zingers. He can zing it back with kids like Corey and Sean. And my favorite quote of his is at the last episode where he says, "Believe in yourselves, dream, try, do good."
I'm out on your quotes now. Stop making them so sentimental. What are we doing here? What are we doing? I mean, I guess this is a father figures list, so there's an assumption that it would be sentimental. But stop it. Stop whatever you're doing.
Nope.
Great pick. I obviously I cannot hate on the pick, nor will I hate on the pick. Great pick. I think he's probably better off in the number one spot. I also thought you were going to say Mr. Feeney from literature, and I was like, man, what Boy Meets World books did I miss out on? But yeah, what more is there to say that hasn't already been said better by me? Mr. Feeney's a great pick. I'm just an asshole this episode. I apologize.
Hey,
the listeners back home.
Again,
I'm sorry.
Again, it's not a bad pick. What I like about it is that he didn't he didn't justify Mr. Feeney being a good father figure by putting down another father.
Yeah, what the hell?
So
I think that's the only way to justify a good father figure.
I think that's how you
For
justify
you to
everything,
get
but-
taller, someone else has to get shorter. That's the way of the world.
No.
Everything's a zero-sum game with you.
Those are the lessons that I learned from guys like Mr. Feeney, and in particular Perry Cox and Frank Reynolds.
That's how we are. That's how we are with like things like list night and all of our competitions. But we would not make good fathers. So
Right, we should not have kids for so many reasons that are very, very apparent on this and other pods. And I just use pods when I fucking hate that word. So I'm a
You're
hypocrite.
such a pod.
I am a pod. I hate it. All right, give us your number one. What's the literature?
Give
pick?
us your former number 2, current number 1.
yeah. So now my number one, and honestly, I'm not mad about switching it. They were kind of tied 1-2. So from literature, Atticus Finch from To Kill a Mockingbird. So I think he's a great not historical, but character in literature. Courageous, brave person who's on the right side of history. Defends what's right during a racist trial and time. I think he's become a symbol of like being an ally for the disenfranchised or marginalized. And then, I'm going to continue just to piss the Griffin off. I'm going to give my favorite quote of his, which is, yep. I wanted you to see what real courage is, instead of getting the idea that courage is a man with a gun in his hand. It's when you know you're licked before you begin, but you begin anyway, and you see it through no matter what. You rarely win, but sometimes you do. So
that's such a
make fun of that
Splinter thing. He could live better, but he lives in a sewer. No, I like this pick. I think it should have been your number 1 from the beginning. Nothing bad about this pick.
I also don't have anything bad to say about this pick. Just a weird coincidence. I almost had Jeff Daniels' character, Will McAvoy from The Newsroom, on my list. One of my favorite father figures in media and one of my favorite shows. And prior to COVID, Jeff Daniels was actually playing Atticus Finch, I think off Broadway. And I was trying really, really hard to get tickets to that. And then I think just prior to COVID starting, he left the role, but I really badly wanted to see him as Atticus Finch because I'm sure he was absolutely killing it. Fantastic actor, and great character and great story. So yeah, I don't have anything bad to say about that one. I like that you included a literature. I like the way that you did it, even if I'm going to shit talk it. Like I like that you went to different media for everything, and I like that your number 1 was a literature pick because it's I wouldn't have gone in that direction.
Yeah, well, you can thank yourself that it ended up at number 1 because I didn't want to have the same number 1 as you.
I thank myself for things every single day.
I will say I do like that someone else made their own rules for their own list, and it wasn't just me. Overall, I can't say it's a bad list, but it also just feels so random that I'm gonna say it's a bad list. But I like your number 1.
Well,
I like the thought behind it. I like the idea behind it. I don't have enough connections with people on your list where like it may very well be a good list, and you might win this week. I don't know. You definitely had more range to your list than I did. I don't have enough connections to it for me to call it a good list because I don't know how good a father figure some of these guys are.
I'm going for range. I'm not going for wins anymore. I'm gonna start wearing my glasses on the pod just so that people think I'm the intellectual.
You're just the cultured guy on the pod.
Exactly. Here's my recap. So number 5 is Mac McGuff, the father from the movie Juno.
Mac McGuff.
Number 4 is Tom Hanks, the real life person and actor. Number 3 is Jean Valjean from the musical Les Miserables. Number 2 is Mr. Feeney from the TV show Boy Meets World, and number 1 is Atticus Finch from the book To Kill a Mockingbird.
You had one great pick on there and 4 picks, but one great pick and 4 picks. I'm going to say.
Sometimes one great pick is all you need.
That's true. Based on some of the lists that you guys have had with like SpongeBob on it, where SpongeBob has gotten you 50% of the vote.
Whoa. I've never had SpongeBob on my list.
Okay, the times that I think Matt had SpongeBob on his most recent list, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
Yeah, and that definitely got him a ton of votes.
I don't even remember what. Oh, protagonist.
Yeah, which is a
Alright,
bit of
my
a
list.
it's a bit of a head scratcher for a protagonist. All right, anyways, go on.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not a good one.
I did not set any specific rules for myself this time, mostly because I finished this list as I was waiting for you guys to get on Zoom. So,
You're breaking kayfabe. We finished these
It's a-
lists weeks in advance.
smorgasbord picks. My
Not a
number
word I
5,
thought you'd say.
But a good word.
not a word.
Not a word that I would have
Yeah.
chosen to say on a recording because I know that I would have fucked it up.
My number 5 is now topical. Maybe not topical a week ago, but big presence in my life for 6 years, I think it was. Steve Burns, Steve from Blue's Clues.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Wonderful character, positive, funny, inspiring in the sense motivating, I'd say. And recently came back and for the 25th anniversary, I believe it was, and told me how good I'm doing. So that was pretty cool of him.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
But I'm the one who's making this too emotional. Yeah, I mean,
Thomas needs to hear it a little bit more than you do, and I need to hear it badly.
love Steve from Blue's Clues.
Yeah.
That was our favorite show in preschool, kindergarten. But one thing I'll say in terms of a father figure, he's kind of stupid. Like he doesn't really know. He doesn't know anything. Obviously, the show is geared towards preschoolers, so he'll be staring right at a clue and be like, "Where's the clue?" Like he's not a functioning adult enough to be a father figure.
And I will debate that by saying a father figure doesn't have to be an adult, but also I think what's inspiring is that he then went to college to better himself. Now, do you have to go to college? No, but he recognized the problem and he went. Or also, you could say he was playing dumb because he was playing with kids. And when you play with kids, you got to play dumb because kids are dumb.
Well, yeah. Now you're just breaking the kayfabe of Blue's Clues as well. But yeah,
How many times are we going to say
That
this?
word's coming up a lot on this episode. We got to do a pro wrestling pod or something. God, I keep saying pod. I hate it so much.
Such a pod.
Oh God. Yeah. So I don't hate the pick. I feel like he's kind of more like an elder brother role. Like I never felt like there was like that. I don't know. Like my dad is not significantly, but he wasn't a young dad. And Steve from Blue's Clues is only like 15 years older than us. Like I never saw him in like a fatherly role.
Yeah, but I feel like when you're
He was like your really cool like babysitter or like your older brother who was like you were the accident and he was born way before you and he just kind of knows the ways of the world before you do. Although he also like Andrew said, he doesn't because he's like functionally illiterate. I don't know.
I
don't
will
know where I
defend.
fall on this one.
I will defend the pick on that point because I feel like when you're 4 or 5, 6 years old, you think of anyone over the age of like 16 as a grown up. So
Yeah.
it wasn't the age thing for me. It was more just like his.
I will say I didn't watch a lot of Blue's Clues, so I don't have the emotional connection. I probably only
That makes
as a kid saw a few
so
episodes.
much sense.
Yeah, I didn't
That
have
makes
cable.
so much sense.
The Disney show.
No, Nickelodeon.
Oh my god!
Nickelodeon, excuse me, Nickelodeon.
Nickelodeon.
Again, a channel that I still or did not have back then. Like I watched it at my grandma's house.
If the age thing is an issue, you would have hated my previous number 4 because it was Tommy Pickles.
Oh, wow.
So you would have hated that. It's
Ah,
not
you know, I kind
anymore.
of get it. I kind of get why he would have made the list.
Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I didn't say that I'm consistent. I have my objections and I stand by them.
But I thought about it. Tommy Pickles is more someone I want to be like, not necessarily, which I guess a father figure could be, but whatever.
Like kind of the definite.
My
father figure. It's not
actual
important.
number 4 is also Nickelodeon based, which I didn't realize. Nigel Thornberry, because well, he is kind of an idiot. He's a really good father to his 3.5 kids, if we're counting Darwin.
4 kids. 4 kids. Racist.
Who's the 4th kid? I
So
said
they have
three.
three kids and then like the monkey?
I said 3.5. Well, Darwin
Yeah.
wasn't really his kid. He's just a monkey who had
They basically
pet.
raised him
He's
from
a pet.
when they got him. Well,
He's a pet.
look.
Anyway, he lets his kids, be themselves and explore, and he takes them on this wonderful adventure. And again, bit of a doofus, but a good dad.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of annoying though. That's my pushback.
Yeah, I kind of agree with your pushback. I did find him pretty annoying. I found that show pretty annoying, which Andrew might disagree with me on for that part. I didn't think it was I didn't like it very much, but he was one of the more annoying parts of it. I do think he was a good father to his kids, and I think like they definitely had more worldly experience than the vast majority of like kids their age. So I get the appeal of him as a father figure. Probably go in a different direction and go like Steve Irwin though, but
Why'd your voice age like 60 years in the middle of that
I got a little something caught in there and I didn't want to cough.
You sounded like the oldest human being who has ever lived. No,
maybe I'm somebody's father figure.
The show, I like the show. But I was talking about this with someone recently. The animation style of Wild Thornberries, I wasn't a fan of. I thought the characters were kind of creepy looking.
They're weird heads. They got weird heads.
But I guess that has nothing to do with Nigel Thornberry as a character. So that's.
I'd say the biggest thing for me with him was just that, his kids were. I mean, Debbie was Debbie and Eliza was Eliza. Like they were allowed to be, whatever.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, number 3 was at a time Master Splinter, and then before the pod, I changed it to a fairly similar pick. But one, I think obviously I preferred Zordon from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
You almost made my list.
But my complaint to you about Master Splinter, his kids dragging in this war goes with this one. So I get that. But he was.
And this time it's more kids. It's even more kids.
It's more kids. But he did allow daughters too. So not sexist.
I feel like that's not Splinter's fault though. Like he didn't choose which turtles got mutated.
He gave them superpowers, essentially.
So he didn't?
He gave him Iron Man suits.
Oh, Zordon did. I was about to say, Splinter didn't spill the ooze on the turtles.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Splinter didn't. Splinter taught him how to kick.
Yeah, they already knew how to kick. They just learned how to kick with super strength.
No, Zordon was a leader and wisdom giver to kids, multiple kids, because as they aged out, he was like, "You're too old to fight for me. Let me get new ones in," which I respect.
Which also sounds really creepy when you say it like that.
Every 2 years, when your phone's old, upgrade. Same thing with kids. Get rid of them.
Every time someone becomes a legal adult and realizes that they have rights outside of becoming your child soldier, you age them out. You push them out.
You know what? Batman did it, and I get it.
On to the next.
Not a great father figure.
No, agreed.
This is another one of those wise people, mentor type picks that I don't hate. In fact, I kind of like. So, okay, good.
I also want to say, we do this consistently. All three of us do this. We're like, here's a guy that we had in our number 2 spot, and now he's not on the list at all. We don't bump him up to number 3 or number 4 or number 5. Like, we've got guys in the middle of the list, and if we're like, oh no, we want somebody else there, it doesn't move the number 5 off the list. It just completely supplants them in the list. Like, I don't think our numbers mean as much to us as they should. And I'm obviously this episode. Yeah, this episode. I'm the definition of that. My numbers don't even exist.
My number 1 almost always matters, and then my number 5 usually matters, and then the middle 3 are
the middle 3. They're in flux. They could be number 17.
And to add to that point is, while we were talking Nigel Thornberry, I thought of someone else who I wish I had said instead of him, but now that person is my number 2, and my number 2 is off the list.
Wow, this is a live. Just changing.
There's a lot happening right now. I'm glad we're talking about it.
So my number 2 was Alfred Pennyworth. But I was kind of iffy because, like, he definitely is a father figure. But
Yeah.
My number 2 now, Uncle Tito, Rocket Power.
You're heavy Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I am.
Yeah,
I didn't mean
big
to
time.
be.
I know
Didn't mean
that's
to be.
Nickelodeon.
Didn't mean to be. But I mean, what can you say? Uncle Tito is the fucking man, and he was like the epitome of cool uncle, but also gave a bunch of wisdom and guidance like a father.
Hasn't Uncle Tito come on one of your lists before? Rocket Power, maybe. Maybe we did like shows of the '90s. Maybe that's what it was.
Rocket Power did, and I think Uncle Tito actually was on a list.
I remember talking about him very, very recently. So
yeah, he's a great character. I won't knock this at all, and definitely a father figure.
This is one where I will knock their actual dad because Tito's so much better than Reg, their dad. Yeah. I mean, so like
he's a burnout.
Where I won't stand for the Mr. Matthews slander, I will stand for the Reg slander. You're
the one slandering Raymundo, not Reg. That threw me off. Raymundo.
Jesus, wow.
Threw me off.
Oh man, I should see myself off this pod because I couldn't remember his name, man. But that speaks to it. I mean, like nobody's forgetting Tito.
He was an absentee father, clearly to you as well.
Well, Raymundo
their mom died. What was that? Did she die or did she leave?
Yeah, I think she died.
Yeah.
And Raymundo he was, I think, just always high. And Uncle Tito was, only sometimes high.
With Raymundo,
I think Uncle Tito was always high too. I think he just dealt with it better.
Yeah. Tito was definitely always high, but he cared about others. Raymundo, his thing was like shred the gnar comes first, and then everything else, including his kids, comes like distant last.
Yeah. He's on permanent island time. Like he's doing his own thing. Fuck them kids. Uncle Tito's out here. He's raising a lot of kids. He's raising a lot of kids.
A lot of kids. Great guy.
Great guy. Yeah. Won't say a bad word about the pick. Probably could pay a little bit more attention to his health. But that's neither here nor there.
We don't know. Just because he was big doesn't mean he was unhealthy.
Yeah. Big bone guy.
Yeah, you're right.
Big bone. Surf.
Yeah.
Longboard.
Yep.
Anyway, my number 1 is officially the only female on the list, but still very much a father/parental figure. And that is Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus. I think an absolute phenomenal teacher and an absolute phenomenal inspiration to kids to explore and learn. And also super cool dresses. An awesome pet lizard. I don't remember the name. And a Magic School Bus.
Super cool dresses, which is something I look for in a father figure. But no, I wanted to get behind this pick, but to me, this is just like a teacher pick through and through. Like to me, I don't know that there's too much parental about her. Like she seems to like constantly be putting the kids in danger. Granted, for the sake of like their education and their academic benefit, but I don't know. I'm gonna have to
tell me this. On the show, did you ever see any of the kids' parents?
I think so. Yeah.
Think a little bit.
There was the one where they go inside Ralphie, I think, because he's sick, and I think Ralphie's staying at home with his mom.
Oh, so in that episode, Miss Frizzle is acting like a father and taking care of a sick child.
Not really. She's just kind of like admiring, like she's showing the kid. She's like, look how sick he
is. That kid could have died that episode, and she would not have cared.
Yeah,
she's like a father. So like a father, she's sharing hobbies and teaching them about things.
And doesn't care if you die.
Well, Jesus Christ. Griffin, put your whole thing
I was
down.
talking from Thomas's perspective. Nah, me and my dad, we're cool. We're cool. We're Gucci. All right. I don't know how I feel about this one. I'm like very in the middle on this one. I get both your perspectives on it. I don't think I would have labeled her as a father figure She's just more of like she's a guiding force, and she's an educator in their lives. But I think at least for some of the kids, yeah, she definitely like taught them lessons outside of just like the intellectual lessons she was teaching. So I get the argument that she was a father figure.
But she's a woman, and you guys hate women, so.
Well,
No, I'll tell you who.
but also like her time with them is like I don't know, like it's like her existence in their lives is super limited. Like I don't even think they do shit in the classroom. They go on field trips, they go home, she's out of the picture. Like she's not
Like the best father.
Yeah.
You know who would have been a great pick from this show? Which character? The Magic School Bus. Very fatherly.
What?
Very protective.
Always protecting them. Always protecting them.
Becomes whatever you need it to be.
Yeah.
I'm on Andrew's side on
Frizzle's command.
I think
Miss
the
Frizzle's command. It's her.
Yeah.
She's the one doing it.
MSP would have been a better father figure.
Is it that her command? It's sometimes that her
do you
command.
think-
I
who do
don't
you
think that's true, Thomas. I think
Who do you think made the Magic School Bus magic?
Magic.
I think it made
Magic
itself.
made
I think it was like part of the like birth of the universe. Like there was a universe, and then there was nothing, and then there was a big bang, and like all the planets and everything else, and then also the Magic School Bus, and Miss Frizzle happened upon it.
Chosen.
And
chosen.
I'm screenwriting
chosen,
again.
Chosen.
I'm screenwriting again.
She was chosen.
Yeah,
She
maybe.
was
Okay.
chosen.
Was
Okay.
she?
Maybe there's a timeline where she was chosen, but there's no timeline where she's some witch who invented the Magic School Bus. Or
Being a chosen one
Please
doesn't make
don't
you a
call-
good
please
father
don't.
figure. Anakin Skywalker was a chosen one. He's a shit ass father figure.
Please
He
don't
almost
call
made my
dad
list.
a
If you want to
witch.
say that,
Alright?
Darth Vader almost made my list.
Please don't what?
Please don't call my dad a witch. Right? Miss Frizzle is amazing. We can all agree my list is pretty good.
Please don't
for
call
being
Miss Frizzle
made
your dad.
5
We
minutes
can
ago.
all agree your list is pretty good. You won't even give it like a great to an excellent. You're
I
like, yeah,
never say my list.
it's
is good.
okay.
I never.
if you were
by the,
if you were
by
to,
the end of my list, I am always telling you guys that it is only okay. All
on
right?
a
I know
1
where
through
I am.
5 scale, on a 1 to 5 scale, where would you put your list?
At
5
3,
being
but
the
I'd
best.
probably change it in the middle of making my list.
Okay, all right.
At least my list has numbers.
Yeah, your list wouldn't even end up on your list of that scale by the time you're done with that list. That's how you
Number
work.
5. Here's my recap. Number 5, Steve Burns, Steve from Blue's Clues. 4, Nigel Thornberry from the Wild Thornberries. 3, Zordon from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. 2, Uncle Tito from Rocket Power. 1, Miss Frizzle from Magic School Bus.
That is in fact a list.
Yeah,
It's got,
I mean,
it's got some highlights on it.
this episode has been fun. Lots of good dads, lots of average dads, lots of not even dads, but you know.
Decent amount of bullying.
Oh yeah,
Healthy amount of bullying, which I guess we did not. Our actual dads did not teach us not to do.
yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I was always taught that if my dad made fun of you, it meant he liked you. So
Oh, that's good. Your dad made fun of me a lot.
yeah, made fun of me a lot. Still does.
I don't think he's ever made fun of me. Actually, that's not true. When Thomas moved away, he definitely made fun of how I showed up dressed to their house.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he did. I don't know what you were wearing.
Yeah, he
but I'm sure
did.
he did.
Yeah,
I'm
he
sure
did.
he did.
I looked great.
What were you wearing?
I was wearing like a
Something
tunic
I'm sure my
shirt
dad
and
did.
like
Oh,
some
yeah.
pretty skinny jeans, Jordans, and like a kind of a shawl sort of thing.
He probably
Like
didn't say
like a
hi. He
floor
probably
length?
just opened up with a. You looked like something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks vaguely like a bathrobe, but you know, it was a fit. I looked good. I've looked better, but I've looked worse. And I think that was the first time I saw Thomas's dad in like years.
Yeah.
It's probably like, it's a good thing my son's moving away.
Yeah, it's a good thing Griffin doesn't come over to visit. I'm really glad that by the time they became friends, they weren't coming to hang out in Flower Hill.
Yeah, your dad was like, please go make new friends and don't start a podcast with your old ones. Please.
Just a really specific thing to ask Thomas not to do.
Don't ever start a pod.
All right. Well, like Andrew said, good lists all around. Somewhat, you know, we had some ups and downs, some give and take. I think everyone had some picks on the list that the rest of us did like, and hopefully that's the case for anybody watching or listening as well. Don't forget when this episode goes up to show it or share it, with your friends, your family, your colleagues, your enemies, your father figures. If you have a father figure in your life that maybe you're trying to reconnect with or one that you talk to regularly, send them this podcast. I think they might like it. They might be confused why you're sending it to them, but they might like it.
To counter that, if there's fathers or father figures you want to do a better job, send them this so they can see what they can do.
Yeah, they can learn from these 15 people that we listed.
Yeah. And if you are a father figure to someone, or if you're trying to be, share it with the people that you want to be a father figure to. It's a pretty not subtle reference to the fact that you want to be more important in their lives. Make sure that once you've listened to the episode, you go and you vote on Twitter or on Instagram. We're going to make sure that we post the list for this one so that you're able to pick who your favorite one was. And don't forget to follow us on Twitter at ListNight and on Instagram at list.night. And that'll be it for this week. Thanks again for tuning in, and we will see you next episode.